Part 2. Get out. Leave right now. I never have a useless daughter like you. My mother looked at me with pure disappointment, her gaze full of contempt. Kathy stretched out her legs with a smug grin and said, I was thinking of hooking you up with a secretary or a driver to help you live the good life. But since you're so set on making your own money, go ahead and move out. And don't come running to me if you get fired. With my point made, I smiled and picked up the page from the household registry that had fallen to the floor. One day, you'll realize that the Miles family isn't as simple as they seem. Anyone who dares to scheme against Chester might end up the one begging for mercy. I spent the night in a hotel, buying some medicine from a pharmacy to treat the wound on my forehead. The next day at work, I overheard my colleagues gossiping. Did you hear? Someone drugged Mr. Miles last night. They slept with him and then ran off and Mr. Miles is going crazy trying to find them. How desperate can people be for money? Who on earth dares to drug Mr. Miles? The last person who tried is probably already in the grave. Wasn't there supposed to be a marriage contract between the Miles family and the Chandler family? Even though the Chandler family's daughter went missing, I heard the engagement wasn't cancelled. As they spoke, the one and only Franklin Chandler appeared behind us without us noticing. He said coldly, Is everyone done with their work? Do you have time to gossip about Mr. Miles? You do have ideas what you're getting yourselves into, right? My colleagues immediately returned to their cubicle in desperate motion. Franklin gave me a once-over, a subtle smile dancing in his eyes. He and Chester had grown up together. Their families were old friends with deep ties. From Franklin's ruthless business style, it was clear that Chester was not someone to be taken lightly. This time, Kathy was finished. Remembering what my colleagues had just said, I immediately went home and wrote up my resignation letter. I couldn't fight them, but I could avoid them. My boss didn't ask for any reason and quickly processed my resignation. Afraid of being found by Chester, I rented a small apartment and stayed hidden for a week, not daring to go outside. Kathy, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. She paraded around the corporation building every day, hoping Chester would recognize her as the one who had drugged him that night. Unfortunately for her, Chester's bodyguards walked past her countless times without sparing her a single glance. Kathy was beginning to panic. She registered an account online under her real name, posting updates about the dinner from that night in every single post. After 10 posts, Chester still hadn't reached out to her. Next, she took a photo of the bank card and claimed it online as her find. This time, she finally got a response. Chester publicly replied to one of the comments. The card is mine. Please share your contact info, and I'll pick it up personally. I'd really appreciate it. His reply sent shockwaves through the internet. It was quickly screenshotted and went viral, climbing to the top of trending searches. The usually cold and distant CEO's rare display of warmth was quickly interpreted by everyone online as a flirtatious conversation. People began speculating that my sister, the Good Samaritan who found Mr. Miles' lost item, was about to hit the jackpot. Sharp-eyed netizens quickly tracked down Kathy's address through her posts. They immediately connected her to the person who had drugged Chester that night. Before the Mr. Miles even showed up at her door, people trying to gain favor were already flooding into her house. Talent scouts reached out to Kathy, offering collaboration deals, praising her pure looks and predicting she'd become a rising star in the industry. Others, eager to get close to the Miles family, invited Kathy to dine at a luxury hotel, asking her to speak on their behalf in front of Chester. Rumors were spreading like wildfire online. Many were even betting that Chester would break off his engagement with the Chandler family. In just one day, Kathy gained millions of followers and became the new internet sensation. Yet, amidst all the attention, she pretended to caution people not to spread rumors, projecting an image of icy composure that quickly won over a legion of fans. Behind the scenes, her scandal only grew more widespread. I couldn't stay idle much longer. I rushed to move my household registration out of my parents' home. That evening, when I returned to pack my things, my parents were practically beaming. They were holding their smartphones, joyfully laughing nonstop at the comments online. It was as if they had already imagined themselves becoming in-laws to the Miles family. I paid them no heed and proceeded to head back to my room to pack my things. At my action, Mom snorted disdainfully. You don't even know how to enjoy life. Your whole life will just be spent working hard for nothing. A burden on the family. Dad sighed deeply, looking disappointed. When are you going to have even half the success your sister has? We could have been living right next to the Miles family by now. Kathy, her face covered in a $1,000 facial mask, strutted out of her room and stood in front of me with a smug expression. You still don't know, right? Mr. Miles has already messaged me, saying he wants to meet. He must have figured out that I was the one who helped him that night, but he's not angry with me. He might have been interested in me all along. I just took a pregnancy test. 2 lines. You should start flattering me now while you still can. After all, you're my sister. Once I marry into the Miles family, getting you a maid job won't be a problem. When I heard her mention the 2 lines, my heart sank. I casually touched my stomach, trying not to show my unease. The rumors online, you were the one spreading them, weren't you? Don't you know how powerful the legal department at Miles Enterprises is? You're not helping Mom and Dad. You're dragging the whole family down with you. Sure enough, as soon as I finished speaking, Mom had just seen the clarifying statement from Miles Enterprises online. It said that anyone continuing to spread rumors would face legal action from the Miles family. The comments section, which had been full of excited chatter just moments ago, was suddenly shut down. All of Kathy's posts were taken down, and her account was banned. Only then did Kathy panic. But holding on to her pride, she hesitated for a long time before finally opening the chat window. Yet she didn't send a message to Chester. As my parents anxiously crowded around her, asking about the situation, Chester finally reached out to her. I'll send someone to pick you up. Be downstairs in 5 minutes. The corner of Kathy's mouth, which had just settled, Couldn't help but lift again. She waved her phone in front of me with a triumphant smile. See that? The Miles family is big. It's understandable they want to keep things low profile. But look, my husband can't wait to explain things to me in person. Someone as timid and useless as you wouldn't even be worthy of carrying my shoes. Get lost. She pushed me aside and headed to her room to change. My parents immediately turned on me. What use is it having you as a daughter if you can't even support your sister? What's the point of raising you? Just leave already. Don't stay here and make us look at you. Mom was so emotional, tears filling her eyes. This risky move was definitely the right one. We might even be moving into a villa tonight. Dad laughed heartily, holding up Kathy's pregnancy test stick, with 2 lines showing, and excitedly said, I never even dared to dream about this. It's the Miles family. We'll be part of high society now. Dear wife, take a look. How does this outfit look for our daughter's wedding? Do you think it'll embarrass her? When our grandson is born, what should we send as a gift? We can't let our in-laws look down on us. Watching them excitedly plan for the future, I silently returned to my room to pack my things. As I left the house, I followed them at a distance. By the time we got downstairs, we were surrounded by neighbors. Their voices were filled with weird mix, both of admiration and envy. Wow, you're so lucky to have a daughter like that. I saw the news online, and if my daughter could marry into the Miles family, I'd be grinning in my sleep. You two are really glowing with happiness. You even look younger. The gray hairs are almost gone. If I had known it would turn out this way, I would have let my daughter try for it too. I thought Mr. Miles was so hard to impress, but after all, he's still a man. He can't resist temptation. I couldn't help but feel a wave of disgust rise in my throat, the urge to gag taking over. My parents were grinning from ear to ear, eagerly declaring that the wedding would be a special celebration for our neighbors. In the midst of their chatter, several police cars pulled up with their sirens blaring. The leading officer showed his badge and spoke coldly. Which one of you is Miss Kathy Holmes? She's suspected of spreading rumors and using illegal substances. We need you to come with us for questioning.